to rest
Oh
because.
wait, he's on his way.
Okay,
All
cool.
right.
Yeah,
Good.
he's on his way.
All right, so um, logistics. I'm going to give you an early warning. Um, Thursday, June 20. I've got a conflict. I'm going to have a eye procedure, so I won't be able to play on the 20th.
Okay.
So I'll keep reminding everybody. Did we had another day in June?
June
What,
6th, right?
June
That's right. Yeah,
June
Yeah,
6th.
it's like his daughter's wedding, and I'm
yeah, that's
out
correct.
camping.
That's my daughter's wedding's the next day, and there's a rehearsal. I think somebody else had a conflict as well.
Yeah, so
Looks like he gets signal in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan camping.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
bring your cell phone.
we'll just plan on so we'll plan on playing next week, and then we'll be 2 weeks, and then we'll be 2 weeks, and that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It'll give me some time to catch up on my notes here and get them into
Yeah,
narrative order.
give me more time to slave away behind my keyboard.
uh,
Um,
you bastard.
yeah. Oh, as a side note, uh, okay, go away, Windows. As a side note, and then we'll just we'll just get this started. Thermo, I know you know because you saw it on social media. I don't really see Kyle or Jim on social media that much, but the my book that came out in March, The Oathbreaker's Daughter, was a well. If this loads, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I tried to put it into there, and it's just gone. It's not there. What the heck just happened? I feel like I got. All right. Well. Oh, there it is. Jesus. It's huge, huge tracts of land. Um. Oh wow, that's causing me problems. Anyway, literaryglobal.com. I was a finalist in their independent author awards in the fantasy category.
Oh,
So
outstanding.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, I was pretty excited about
Congrats.
that. All right, so to the game. Sharif will be here any minute. Khan usually stands around kind of quietly anyway while people are doing different things, so it'll be okay. You had just last session, you guys, after escaping from the camp or the hospital, excuse me, ran into a man who called himself a statue, and uh, he rattled off a bunch of different things in a mix of German, Italian, and English, and the words that Baker heard from him that were in English and German had to do with what snakes and tunnels and stuff like that. And you guys got him to calm down a little bit, but then uh, he said something. He said that he wasn't a man. He had a name once, but now he doesn't. Now he's a statue named Pasquino. And then he tried to cut his own hand off. You guys bonked him on the head, took him back to the safe house, while Slim disposed of the truck in excellent fashion. Um, and Walter did a remote viewing on the snake person clawed finger that he took. And you guys saw a lot of underground stuff. You saw people in gray uniforms working, clearing rubble and dirt from tunnels. You saw people being dragged off into the tunnels. You saw a lot of darkness. You saw a couple of underground caves that were lit by kind of a luminescent moss. Yeah, there was a lot there. Um, Pilecki really gave it up to get all this information, spending 6 momentum for you guys, and almost blowing up his own head scanner style. So Uh, yeah, yeah, and that's really kind of where we left off. There he is. Hey, Sharif.
Hey guys, I'm sorry for my tardiness today.
Hey, man, it's fine.
Morning.
We're good. No big deal. But yeah, that's you guys are in the safe house, Pasquino. You had the doctor treat Pasquino. You guys have him in a bed but restrained. And you're I guess waiting for him. Well, I guess like I said, Pilecki just finished his remote viewing, so he's in full blown burnout mode. Don't you have like four fatigue, and you have an injury, don't you?
I do. I've got a psychic burnout and like seven fatigue or six fatigue, something crazy like that. It's
Yeah, so he's in a little bit of a bad way. Is the best way to put it.
hurting a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. All your stress boxes are full, and your stress has been reduced. Your max stress has been reduced by fatigue. So yeah, you're in rough shape. Um, but that's where we're at. You guys, scene wise, to just a brief update. I currently have 9 threat, and you
Ah,
guys have 1 momentum.
oh,
Oh boy. Now, is it evening or I'm trying to think because we had taken him back to
Yeah,
the
it's
safe
it's
house at 9.
yeah, it's probably the kind of dead middle of the night because you guys went to the hospital in the night. And let's be blunt, that whole scene really didn't take that long.
Yeah,
It, it may have taken us 2 hours to play it, but it didn't take that long. But
no,
I
I got the impression that by the time we got back to the safe house, the we were starting to get the false dawn.
yeah, that's correct. That's
All
correct.
right, and then Slim disposed of the truck, and then we started doing all the other stuff. They got the doctor to fix Pasquino, and then Walter did his viewing. So um, I I thought that that puts us I thought that puts us more in the morning
Yeah,
rather than the
pretty close to dawn, somewhere in that
Gotcha.
ballpark. Yeah.
Gotcha.
so now Walter really needs to rest before his head literally falls off. And Pasquino is sedated or whatever, knocked out, unconscious. He's unconscious or sleeping, I forget which, but we probably need some more information from him if it, once he is awake and if we can keep him calm. But he is kind of. It does seem like he's completely off his nut. Um, sorry, they wouldn't have used that term back in 1939.
Probably not.
No, his cheese has slipped off his cracker.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Love that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
so
no swearing here.
Whoa, come on.
We are civilized men.
So Slim is sort of like meandering through the safe house with a cigarette in his mouth and a screwdriver, and and he like comes in. I assume Pilecki's on the couch,
Yeah,
I am in repose.
yeah.
and he sort of like looms over you and swishes the ice in his glass, and he says, "Pilecki, Pilecki, you wake?"
Oh, 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 what?
Just checking on you.
Slim, my friend.
Just
Just
checking
bring
on
me
you.
something.
Yeah, you want some breakfast? And he like offers you the drink. You
Oh, Jinkuya, Jinkuya. And,
want me to take this dog out?
oh, please do. Please, please. Yeah, Luca needs to do something, I'm sure. You're a good friend.
All right, can do. Now, how long are you going to be posted up?
I've never done anything like this before. I don't know. I'm afraid I really hurt something, but I think I might be okay about a day. Maybe I can figure out where I'm at then, but I can't see right now.
All right, all right. Well, take your time. It's government work. I'll get out there with this dog, and he
Jinkuya, Jinkuya, and he pounds the drink that Slim just gave him, which is probably pretty healthy, knowing Slim. Puts the glass on the floor, closes his eyes, and rests his head on the pillow.
Slim comes
Just
in with Luca on a leash into the other room. He's like, "Well, gentlemen, Palecki's down for the day, at least."
yeah, there may not be much more we can do until we can ask Pasquino more questions. Uh, uh, Anything else we do, I don't know if there's more to be gleaned from the compound at this point, the work site. But if we go there, we've stirred up a hornet's nest, so that could be bad. The hospital the same way. We don't want to go near the hospital again anytime soon. So I don't know, you guys. I think we're stuck. I'm looking at my notes. Out of game for a second. I'm looking at my notes. Back in the game. I think we're stuck for further clues until we can talk to Pasquino. What do you guys think?
Well, that sounds about right.
Well, speaking of Pasquino, because he rolled a 5 on one of his d20s, he is starting to stir.
Huh.
Um, as you look over at him, restrained on the bed, he looks like he's starting to come to, starting to come around a bit.
Okay. Um, so on game mechanics, if we if we start asking him questions and trying to get him to give us answers, what what kind of role would that be? Would that be will or reason or something like that?
Well, it all depends on the situation.
Okay.
Um,
But I guess what I'm thinking is um, con con's numbers in those areas should be pretty good, right?
Which areas are we talking about again?
Sharif, we're talking about if you look at reason or will with, say, persuasion or observation, what do your numbers look like?
Yeah, so reason and will aren't super high. Reason 8, will is 9.
Okay.
Persuasion is high, is a 3 with deceive focus. And what was the other skill you mentioned?
Observation.
Oh yeah, observation's 3 as well with instincts. What's really high on my character is insight. That's a 12.
Yeah, and insight might be one of the roles too. So, because what we need to do is, all right, because I think we need to ask. First of all, we have to see if we can get anything square out of Pasquino because he was not in a good state before. He's probably not in a state now. He might have. He might have. He might have some mental trauma from the sights that he's seen apparently, and it may be long lasting. But somehow we have to get some information out of him. You might be the best one to elicit that information.
I can try.
That man is so contrary, he floats upstream. What if we do a little good cop, bad cop?
Well, with someone who's mentally unstable, I'm not sure. Maybe that's a way. Maybe we should see what his state of mind is before we jump to any particular method. Let's just see. Let- We should just ask him some questions. All right. So before we jump in and start asking him a bunch of questions, where are we on this thing? We saw Walter's. Walter saw some. It appears that you know. Not sure I believe this kind of thing, but I've seen some really strange things working with you gentlemen so far. So uh, Walter's visions would make it look like there's some kind of, I don't want to use the word, or some kind of passageway or doorway uh, that these strange creatures have passed through and may be passing back and forth for all we know. It may work both ways. We don't know anything. He had some crazy rantings, and we have what Walter saw. Um, Other than that, Fuchs is dead. Good riddance.
Good riddance.
But we're not going to get anything out of him.
No, we really knocked the cheese off his cracker.
Slim slaps Cotton hard on the back.
Still feels good.
All right. So I don't know. Really, where do we go next? We haven't found Pasquino's partner yet. What's her name?
That Lucretia lady?
Lucretia lady. We haven't found her yet. She's a loose end. She probably has a lot of information. He should have a bunch of information, but he seems like he's loony. All right, well let's I walk over to Pasquino and he's still in and out of it a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to come to. Um, as it starts slowly, eyes open up a little bit and closes them again, fades for a few seconds, and then he starts to come back. Uh, Finally, he starts to come fully around, and he he looks from one of you to the other. Uh, I think see, it's Baker and Slim are the two he really saw in the alley,
Yeah.
um, and he's definitely much calmer than he was when you saw him in the alley. But there's still a sense of unease about him as you look at him, and he says he he. I guess he asked the simple question, "Where am I?"
All right, I'm gonna pull up a chair and sit next to. I'm assuming he's on a cot or something.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to end that sentence. I pull out a knife.
No. I'm gonna pull up a chair and sit down next to him and say, "You're safe. No one here is going to harm you. I'm. Uh, do you remember anything of last evening?"
he he looks away from you and he seems to just be staring off into space. He says, I I don't know what I remember or when it's from. There is so much." And he closes his head, kind of scrunches his eyes, closes his head, closes his eyes, kind of scrunches them together a little bit. Uh, he says, there is so much. He says, "Oh God, the snakes."
It does seem like you've been through a lot. It can't have been easy for you.
May I
He
ask you a question? I'm sorry.
Please
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
and I don't want to interrupt the
No, no,
questioning.
go ahead.
Is this just a thing that his mental um, condition could be improved by the blessings of Usha spell?
Um, yeah.
Because the spell says, remove all stress, remove any effects. So I don't know in game terms if that translates to what's wrong with him or if like his brain is like scrambled eggs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can give you the GM answer. You can certainly try.
Oh boy,
That's what I was thinking. I think it's a great idea.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
I'm gonna try this spell and like end up summoning like 16 snake guys. Wait, that wasn't bad.
I don't think that's how that works. Let me pull this.
You have some cool spells.
I only have three of
They're
them,
really cool. Yeah.
so they don't come up very often. But when they do, I think that's cool. There's another one that's used for banishment of supernatural creatures, which I hope I never have to use, but I probably will at
Oh, I
some point.
can't wait till you have to use that one. I'm excited.
But to be honest, we've got some downtime with Walter anyway. Um, I'm interested. I'm outside the game now. I'm interested to see how the thing might work.
This is the what's the spell called again? Am I
Sorry,
translating?
what was your question?
What's the spell again? What's it called?
Blessings of. I changed the last name to give it an Indian god's name, so I don't know the
Uh,
original name.
the
Blessings of
okay,
somebody.
blessing. Yeah, blessings of ire.
Higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or might be. I'll have to check the pronunciation on that, but I'm going with ire for now.
Just because I think it's kind of a amusing narrative, and Slim is standing there with the dog. He's been missing out on all the supernatural stuff, so I think Slim leaves the room with Luca to take her outside.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I like that. Um,
You know, his time's going to come.
Oh yeah, I know.
Now, just so you're aware, you only have one momentum. So, um, your I guess your possibilities where that's concerned are a little limited.
What's
Um,
it? What's all right? So what's it take? What's I don't have the spell in front of me. I haven't pulled up the player handbook. I'm interested in learning.
well,
So how does it work?
it's what it's a medicine based spell. Is that correct, Sharif?
That is correct, and it
Eh,
has a difficulty of three.
It's a difficulty of
Ooh,
3. So on
So, yeah.
what's your and you use insight to cast. Your insight's a 12,
Yes,
and your
yes.
medicine's what?
My
I think it's
medicine
a
is a two.
It's a
Yeah.
2. So your
Mhm.
target number is 14. So you need 3 successes on 2d20 with a target number of 14 and a
ooh.
critical spot of 1 to 2. So
That's pretty rough, man.
that's a little tough. Now you've got one momentum that you could spend to buy an extra d20. Of course, if you do that, your momentum's burned, and well, you need two momentum to do any of the effects anyway, don't you? Yeah.
I need one momentum to uh, wait. What does it say? Any defeated allies within range recover immediately.
Yeah, that happens automatically. You don't have anybody who's defeated. Um,
Oh, defeated. That's right. That's the game term I don't ever remember.
yeah,
That's when you're wounded and can't do anything, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
uh,
it just modifies the spell. So for two, you can switch it to medium range. For two, you can remove
well, two you
a
can
single injury.
yeah for two you can remove an injury,
All affected allies can.
which Walter has an injury.
Right.
Um, so that's totally up to you how you want to play this. Of
All right.
course, I don't know what your
So
fortune
explain.
situation is either.
So it needs to be. So I guess the spell by itself will remove stress. For two momentum, it can remove injuries.
Correct.
Okay.
That's two in addition. If you use one to get another die, then that means it would need you'd need three.
You would need banked three, unless his
Bank
die
three.
roll picks up two momentum, which would be pretty damn good roll, because that would mean five successes on 3d20.
Ugh,
Whoa.
that would be a miracle. Um,
How much? What can I do with fortune now? I could have a success. Is that right?
Yes, if you use a fortune point, it turns one of your 2d20s into an automatic one, so it gives you two successes right off the cuff. And then you still roll the 1d20. Which, so for the spell to be successful, you would need a 14 or less on that 1d20.
Um, that still won't get us anywhere. It still won't buy us to the injury removal unless I actually roll
Unless you
something to
roll a
momentum.
1 or a 2. If you roll a 1 or a 2 on that 1d20, then you would gain an extra point of momentum, which would get you the
okay.
injury removal.
That seems
Um,
expensive.
what about? Well, here's the question then: Is there some? Oh, I'm trying to think if there's some way we can generate some more momentum before you try and use the spell. Um, maybe maybe we should just try asking him some questions first and see what we can learn and determine if we need to even do this. We might have to.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
idea.
but let's ask him some questions first, just see what his state of mind is and what kind of answers we get. If they're all kind of twitchy and discombobulated, then we could go for this. It's just it's a high price to pay to do a fortune point to remove his stress, and get a success out of this thing. Um, but then after you do it, yeah, okay, we reduce his stress, but because he's still injured, we don't get much more out of him. It would be a shame if that all happened. Maybe we could get something out of him before we try that.
I don't want to be, always the screwdriver that's needed, but if whatever happens, we could always do a fallback where you heal me and I can just do my thing on him as well. But I think getting the info out of him would be better because you get his actual info, not just where his body's been, right?
All right. Well,
So we can, I mean, there's a couple ways we could do this. Like, there's a fallback, but I would have to be healed for that to happen. How about if we have Slim just try to steal a car? That'll get us momentum, right?
The
well,
easiest way to get
why don't
momentum,
we ask him some?
I don't even want to
Why
bring
don't we
this
go
up.
ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time Khan does observation checks, he almost always gets momentum. But it's cheesy to go outside, look to see if we were followed, and then come back in. I got two
Yeah.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel
I am
that's
outside walking the dog.
I'm just walking the
Yeah.
dog. Oh, I found some momentum over here.
so let's see if we can get some information out of Pasquino before we jump into it. Until we jump into burning your spell and your fortune point and all that. Um, so um, I'll pull up a chair for Khan too. The two of us will sit down the cot next to Pasquino. At least that's what he's calling himself. That was his code name too, right?
It was.
Um, I I know you've had a rough time of it, but we need to try and understand what you've been through and get some information. Um, do you know what happened to Lucretia?
Um, all right. Let's see if he. Ooh, hold on, I need his stats. That roll came out to be a lot closer than I expected. Because with a lot of this stuff, you can just eyeball. You roll T20. If the guy rolls a 4, you know we got a success, no matter what his stats are. But when you have a roll like 13, that's a little closer. You got to double check. Where is the guy? I didn't really. There he is. Gosh. The one thing I will say about these books, they're not always laid out the best. I wish all the characters in a particular mission just had all their stats in one place. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Instead, I'm flipping pages trying to figure out exactly where it's at. Oh wow, that's actually rather impressive. Um, he when you ask him that, he starts to focus back at you, and he says, Lucretia, yes, she's uh, her name. Her name is oh shit, come on. Her name is Sabia Janetti. She's in the work camp. She's been captured. You've got to get her out. You can't leave her there.
How did you get out of the work camp? It looks like you were there, right?
Yes, I was. I was taken. Uh, Sabia was out of the shop when when the black shirts came, and they took me to the prison. I didn't even go before anybody, a judge, tribunal, no one. I was assigned to work in the dig site. They the Italians discovered something trying to improve the road, and before I knew what was going on, there were Germans everywhere. We were clearing out tunnels, and he starts to get a little wide-eyed, and his eyes start to kind of roll around like a panicked animal. Uh, the snakes, the snakes are in the tunnels. The snakes are in the tunnels. I ran. The someone was dragged off. I ran. I ran into the darkness. I finally I finally found a way out. There was light coming through a crack in the wall. I squeezed through. I escaped. I escaped into the street through a drain.
How long ago was that? How long were you looking for us?
2 days, or was it 3? I knew we had. I knew Lucretia would send for help as soon as the shop was tossed. As soon as they came and closed down the shop, I knew she would send for help. So then it just became a question of when you arrived.
So these uh, these snakes, are they protecting something? Do you know what the Italians have found? Do
I
you know what they've asked? What have they asked you to look for something?
No, no, they didn't tell us anything. We were just to clear rubble from tunnels. These tunnels were these tunnels are old. We don't know who made them. The there was an Italian there's an Italian archaeologist in the camp. He was called in, and it was right after he was called in that Germans showed up. There's a German archaeologist there, and there's another German. I don't know his name, but he wears a suit. Almost seems like he's in charge. They don't know I speak German. I picked up a few words here or there. They're looking for something. They think there's, I'm not sure, some kind of weapon maybe.
Did he just say weapon?
He just did.
From the kitchen, you hear the click of toenails on tile, and then you
Yours?
hear, yeah, yeah, and he needs a trim, and then you hear weapon. Someone say something about a weapon. He comes back into the room. We need weapons in here.
Our good friend Pasquino was telling us about the work site.
Oh, we going back? We gonna rough them up?
Well, he says that our other contact, Lucretia, is in the camp, a prisoner in the camp. Pasquino, where do you do, are you kept in prison at night or during the day? Are they working round the clock?
Some of them, they do most of the work during the day. They do most of the work during the day. The the snakes seem to be more active at night. So only they send more guards into the tunnels at night with fewer workers than during the day. The the Lucretia is kept in the prisoners' barracks there.
The prisoners' barracks at the is there a barracks at the work site, or is there or do they come and go from the prison?
Yeah. Make a. What would I have you do? Because you're the one who got the best look at the work site, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So make an insight. I don't know that I want to call it an observation. Um.
We're trying to pull up on a memory, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Observation may be the only thing that fits.
I would allow that. I would also allow. Um. I would allow tactics if that's better for you.
It's not.
Okay. Um.
All right, so I'm trying to draw on a memory of what I've seen. So let's click Insight. And
Because Has anybody else actually seen the work site? I mean, you're all aware of its existence, but I don't have. Has any of the other characters physically seen it?
No,
well,
because he was the only one who put his head out the hatch, right?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I could look down and remind me they had we had barricades, but um, when we walked during the day uh, to scope the thing out, uh, they basically have fences and they were using the walls of buildings, so it's not like we had a good view inside.
No, you really didn't. So
So
you're
I'm the
really the
only
only
one
one
who
who
got
got
a
a good view. Yeah.
I'm the only one who got a good view of it.
All right. Difficulty
Um,
one, sir.
yeah.
Oh, no bueno with a complication.
Jeez.
Um, So there were. You think back on it, there were a bunch of buildings in the. There were four buildings quite specifically in the camp, um, including a big refuse heap. Um, three of them were relatively large, and one was a small building up on cinder blocks. What their uses are, you're not sure, or were, I should say.
Okay.
Pasquino suddenly suddenly starts suddenly starts shouting at you, Lucretia, you have to get her out. You have to get her out of the camp. You have to get her. The snakes will come. They'll come for her. They'll come for all of us. He's completely losing it.
So Slim, whispers in Khan's ear, and he says, "This man's got too many cobwebs in the attic. What's all this about snakes?"
It appears he has been ill used by his captors and has seen grotesqueries we can barely imagine.
Well, them Germans are certainly grotesque. I said we go in those tunnels and put a rocket down their throat.
I agree, but I think there's more that we need to understand first, such as how, weaknesses, points of entry, merely walking in blindly would end in disaster, I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe we go case the joint again.
It does seem that it seems that all our leads are still pointing us back to the work site. I think we need to Slim. I think that's a good suggestion. I think we need to go back and take a look at the site and see if we can learn enough to find Lucretia and get her out there. I think she's with Pasquino's state of mind. I think Lucretia is to be key to our next steps.
Henry, perhaps you can ask him if he were going back to get her, how he would go in.
Oh,
Um,
he's in babble incoherent mode at the moment.
He's in La La Land,
Oh
huh?
yeah, he's speaking a combination of Italian, German, and English. He has not stopped speaking since he started bursting out, or it started his outburst. Started
Maybe
bursting out. That's a completely different thing.
we might need this spell.
wrong
Might
game.
need this spell after all, I guess. Because I
We
don't
So,
know.
might. We might. The All right. So with what he's given us, he Lucretia is in the camp. She's a prisoner. They work mostly during the day, and they put extra guards down the tunnel at night because the snakes, he called the snakes, come at night. That means that at night
Mostly,
there might be
they come.
mostly, but
No, that's an
yeah,
alien reference.
I know. But that would mean that uh, our best chance to get Lucretia out would be to find out what building the prisoners sleep in and go at night because there will be fewer guards on the building and more in the tunnels or watching the tunnels. Don't you agree? That's what it sounds like from what I've heard. Any
that
other
makes sense
views?
to me.
I agree.
Now, your expertise is infiltration, so we'll go all stealth like. But my expertise is exfiltration, getting us out. So You bring your gear. And he points to your knife. I'll bring mine.
The boy may actually be right this time.
He slaps you on the back again. See? See? I'm glad there's a consensus.
Um, well, Walter's in a bad way. He needs to rest and recover. Um, we we already know that if we, I think we were right the first time. The building that we entered the first time and went up, and I went up on the roof. That does seem to be a very good place to get into the compound from, and probably get away. But if we go there during the day, if we go there during the day, we will attract attention, as we already know. We That happened once already. So, um, unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to do much surveillance during the day to try and figure this out. We may have to plan to go in the evening, in the night, back to that building, go up on the roof, and study the compound and try and surmise where the prisoners might be. We've already worked out a reasonably good place to get in and get out. We did all that planning before.
Well, and he looks at Pasquino and then back at Baker and he says, well, I got a bit of an idea. We still got them German uniforms and we got an escaped prisoner.
Hmm.
Even though Pilecki's passed out in the next room, his brain registers a brilliant idea.
We put
Um,
this man in cuffs, say we pinched him, bringing him back.
we're
That could
taking
get
them
us
to the
in the
cell
door.
block.
Taking him to cell block. Maybe there's a small
That
weapons
sounds familiar.
malfunction.
Um,
Everything's fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Slim needs to dress up as B.A. Baracus and get us a van.
what I what I'm worried about with that approach is his state of mind, and he's Pasquino's a wild card. Um, but that approach is a let's walk in the front door approach, right?
Well, are you front door man or back door man, sir?
I'm feeling a little bit of both,
He
probably.
slaps your arm. He's like, "I'm just razzing you. I just pick up a thing or two about your skill set. You're real sneaky like, and I'm just saying, I have some appreciation for that."
It's an interesting idea. Um, it's boy, doesn't it seem there's a lot more moving parts to persuading your way in and then extricating your way out?
Well,
I
like I
guess
said, I can persuade us out.
It's not like there's a tank nearby that could be stolen. You know
There's
Slim's
the backup
waiting for
plan.
that, right?
I know he wants to steal that Panzer. Uh, all right. What's got me thinking, Slim, is even though at nighttime more of the Germans, guards slash soldiers, whatever, are going to be down in the tunnels based on what Pasquino said. Um, there's still a lot of them, and I'm just wondering if going in a stealth approach to find Lucretia and get her out would limit our exposure versus blustering our way in. Of course, remember also our German uniforms are NCO uniforms. So if we run into an
One of
officer,
them is, yeah.
yeah, one of them. But I mean, we're not high on the food chain. We run into an officer, uh, and especially if he starts demanding our papers.
I respect that.
As a sergeant, I would have trouble blustering my way past a lieutenant.
Well, let's add some ribbons
Certainly not
to
a house.
those uniforms. You know, little epaulets or whatever, and get yourself a fancy hat.
Fancy.
General Baker, maybe. He's joking around a little bit. He says, "But no, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Now, what if we get some kind of distraction just in case, like I don't know, some kind of explosive or something on the perimeter?"
I think what we need is for this guy to be cogent so we can ask him some questions about their defense. Maybe
Well,
we just
I don't know what that means,
Okay.
but sure.
That's
maybe he needs to sleep. Will he be better if he sleeps?
Who can tell?
Eat and sleep and
I mean, you do know, you
look at
have,
the internet for a while.
yeah, you do have, you do have some tactical information about the camp. You know that it's basically chain link fences, except around the one entrance, which has a gate with two towers. The towers each have a machine gun in them, and
Yep.
based on your count, you know there's a grand total of 20 German soldiers in the area, basically an entire group, or group, as I guess they would pronounce it. Um, so you know roughly what you're up against.
Well, where's the drain that he climbed out of?
You don't know.
we don't know
Yeah,
because
One of the questions I want to ask him is like, where is this drain?
he's
So we could
he's
climb through it.
currently in completely lost his shit mode.
Yeah, I mean that's the first question I would ask him if he were cogent.
Um,
Where the fuck is the drain?
well, if you want to ask him a further question, then I would say that you are ready to make a roll.
All right. Well, while you tend to this man, I need to find some white paint. Do we got white paint? Palecky, and you like walks out of the room. You hear him talking.
all right.
So if you would like to try to get him cogent again, so that you can get more information out of him, I will need from you a. Ooh, let's see here. I'm trying to decide which stat would probably be most. Uh, oh, okay. Here we go. Insight plus medicine. Sharif, with a you don't have a psychiatry focus.
I do not.
Yeah, so insight plus medicine.
I'm only concerned with real science.
Yes.
That was a joke at my therapist friends that are in the room.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, I'm writing my notes here.
Never mind.
I laughed at it. I knew you were taking a shot. I enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Go back and hang out with
I'm a
my
doctor, not a
philosophy friends.
psychiatrist. Um,
I actually have a on my desk in my office. I have a. I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
nice.
So
And Scotty's immediate answer was, "Now you're an engineer." All right, so yeah, insight plus medicine. No focus applies for you, unfortunately. Difficulty one. Wow. Well, that puts you to three momentum.
Hot
oh
dog.
Yay!
yeah, nice.
Yay!
Um, all right, so uh, you're. I mean, you tell me how you get his attention and get him to come back to reality enough so that you can keep talking to him.
Oh well, we performed the mantra of focus, the first mantra that all young students learn when they learn to access the power of their mind.
Okay,
A meditative drill.
gotcha, gotcha. I imagine it involves some sort of special breathing and that type of thing. Maybe I don't know.
Sure, sure, of course. You've done it. You know,
Absolutely.
the thing. Do the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Get my chakras aligned.
Yeah, do
Um,
chakras. It's a key thing. Chi, whatever you want to call it. It's good.
all right, so yeah, you're able to get him focused and brought back around to at least some semblance of reality. What would you like to ask him?
I need you to focus on the camp. I need you to focus on your escape and tell me where is the drain? How could we get into the camp?
The the drain, uh, the drain is that's really interesting. We're just gonna have to say the drain is on High Street, I guess, because they don't actually tell me the location of the drain. They just simply say he can tell you the location of the drain. That's seems like an oversight. Um,
Whoopsie.
yeah, exactly.
Editors fell asleep.
Yeah, you guys missed something on here. It is near uh the drain that he escaped from. He tells you where it is. It's actually not far. Well, nothing seems far, I guess, but it's only the drain itself is only 1 or 2 kilometers away from the Castel San Angelo. It's actually not far away from the statue of Pasquino itself. But he tells you where it is, and you can locate that between your guidebook and the map that's involved, so you know roughly where it is. Um, he says uh, the drain it's large enough to accommodate a man. It's just a heavy piece of iron. It will let you into the sewers, and right there, within a few feet, you'll actually find a large crack in the wall that you'll have to climb up and over into, and that actually enters these tunnels that I escaped through.
And once we're in the tunnels, where do we go to find Lucretia?
I I don't know.
You must know. Help
I
us save
I
her.
I I
Remember,
I
remember, remember. Look into my eyes.
Kalima. Oh wait, wrong movie.
Kalima. Kalima.
He says I ran through those tunnels for I don't know hours. I they just they there's so many intersections, and I would hear something in the dark, and I would run away, and it was pitch black. I could see nothing. I don't know. But Lucretia, she is in the prisoner barracks in the camp. They work the prisoners. They work the prisoners 12 hours at a time. So she will either be somewhere in the tunnels clearing rubble, or she will be in the barracks back at the camp. One of the two. No prisoner who goes to the camp ever goes back to the prison.
I draw I draw a quick sketch of the compound based on what I saw,
Oh, look at you! Look at the big brain on Brad.
and ask him if he. I show him where the opening to the tunnels were and the general location of the buildings, and ask him, does he know which one is the barracks from this
Yes.
view?
So the because you asked that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and do something here,
All right,
just to make it easy for everybody. How do you guys feel about that?
I like it.
Yep,
Sounds good to me.
yep. Let me find this here in the PDF. There it is. Snipping in Windows is what? Shift Windows S. Hey, look at that. Once in a while, I know how to do something. That's not quite gonna work. Hold on. I'm gonna get there. Give me 1 second. We're gonna get there.
While you're doing that, I was looking at Sharif's roll. That was pretty impressive.
Uh,
14 and a 1.
can I Control V it here?
Oh wow, I like that
No.
breakdown that they do.
All right. So let me do file.
That is
Uh,
very handy that they do that.
let me do a new custom clipboard. Control V. Perfect. We're gonna export.
Are you hacking the mainframe over there? What's going on?
I had to snip it from
He fights for the users.
yeah, that's right. Oh, nice.
Uh, uh,
Man, I just watched or listened as I was driving the other day to a video of someone who's like 28 years old who watched that movie for the first time. Um, and she was like, "I can't believe how good this is." Um, let's see, what should I call this? We're going to call this. We're just going to call this the camp. Um, we're going to export it, and then we're going to come over here, and I'm getting there, guys. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But I think we're all going to like this when it's said and done. It will be worth the wait, I promise. Minimize my Photoshop and drop and drag. Come on, baby. You can do this. I have faith in you. Um, well, I pulled it over. What happened? Oh my god. Roll 20 is telling me I'm out of space. God damn it.
oh no.
You you suck, Roll 20. All right. There's more than one way to skin a cat. How about this? I'm just going to email it all to you guys. Give me 1 second. Uh, I gotta tell you, one thing I do love about Gmail is once I put the first two of your addresses in, it automatically suggests everybody else's.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because it knows I tend to email all four of you at once.
Gmail's like, oh, you'll want these other losers too.
Jeez, rough. All right, I just sent you guys all a PNG called Camp. And for the 9 people that watch us on YouTube, I'm sorry that you can't see it. Nothing I can do.
Okay, I just got it here. Okay, 4 buildings. Some.
So the building on the north side of the camp, uh, uh, where the refuse heap is, the spoil heap, that is the building that you guys were in. Okay, and you can see that the camp goes right up to the building. Like the building itself makes
Oh, I see.
a wall for the camp. The southern building, there's a space between the fence and the building where people can walk through. In fact, it's large enough for a truck to get through, just barely, because it's about, well, not not maybe not a truck, but at least a car, an automobile. But you can
Is that
see,
about Panzer width?
and Panzer ones are. Ooh, what's the width of a Panzer one? I used to
I
know
don't
that
think
off
they're
the top
wider
of my
than a
head.
truck.
They're
They're
not
pretty
very
tight.
wide.
No, Panzer ones are pretty small. I used to know the exact dimensions of a Panzer one off the top of my head. Um,
That
uh,
must have been handy when you were dating.
There you go.
How not to get laid. Starring
the
starring every World War II fan ever.
Oh yeah, Panzer one's only not even 7 feet wide.
Oh wow. Okay.
it's it's the width of my car.
I think I want to get one just for the yard.
If you can find one,
Yeah,
you're much more likely to be able to buy a Sherman tank.
yeah,
You
probably.
can buy a non-restored Sherman for somewhere in the 40s.
Oh, nice.
So, so of course, based on this sketch, the prisoner barracks is completely all the way across the the camp from the boarded up buildings where we were on the roof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's about what it comes down to.
Why wouldn't it be?
Um, and just so
This-
you're aware, the because I had to trim part of the map because it did have a piece of information that was not player friendly. So that cut a couple things off. The Vatican is due west. That area to the west of the camp is basically the street that leads straight to the Vatican. The actual dig site itself is just literally um, 5 meters from the northwest corner of the camp.
Okay.
It's a demolished building that had been cleared away so that it's nothing but the foundation,
So the
and that's where
prisoners are
they found
walked from the
tunnels.
camp through the fence somehow to the dig site.
They just take them through the gated doors and walk around the southern part.
So they go south, then west, and back north.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting that they don't have a gate in the back that would just go right there. But what that space you were describing before, that's between the prisoner barracks and the site office. Is that what you were saying is wide enough for a truck?
No, the area on the southern end between the fence and the boarded up buildings.
Oh, okay, where it says the word fence.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's about 5 meters wide, so it's wide enough for a truck.
Okay.
Maybe 4 meters, but pretty close.
The
Somewhere in that ballpark.
ground.
Well, yeah, because the Opel truck drove through it before, so yeah, it's just wide enough for a truck.
Yeah, the four slashes that are in the ground, like there's three to the northwest of prisoner barracks and there's one to the southwest of spoil heap. What are those gouges in the ground supposed to be? Or that's what they look like to me. I don't know.
Um, Nothing important, we'll just say.
Just terrain. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what are the white dashed lines with arrows?
Oh well, that's
Ignore that.
yeah. Ignore that, please.
Okay. But whatever it is, I don't understand it, so you're safe.
That's
Yeah.
right.
How tall are the fences again?
The fences were 12 feet,
Yeah.
Are they
and the guard towers are taller than that. The towers are rickety wooden towers that are about 20 feet tall.
okay? And is it chain link? Is it
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Chain link with razor wire at the top or barbed wire at the top.
got it. What kind of ground?
It's pavement
Oh,
because it's
okay.
literally on the street.
It's on the street, yeah. Okay.
So, based on what we just heard, gentlemen, if we use the drain for access to the, eventually gives us access to the tunnels, we do that approach during the day because odds are we'll find Lucretia in the tunnels working. However, if we want to sneak in at night, I don't suggest we use the drain necessarily. because the drain leads to the tunnels, and there will be more Germans in the tunnels at night, and also snakes. Not a big fan of snakes, especially really big ones.
Yeah, 7 foot ones that walk on two
Yes.
legs.
Is it really a snake if it has legs? So if we did the night infiltration, it would be from the top of the buildings over the fence around to the barracks, get her, and then get out. Um, to be honest, I'm kind of liking the boy going during the day. That sounds nice, except that we have to get we have to get into the we have to get into the drain in the middle of the day. Aren't a bunch of people going to look at us funny?
Very true. Very true.
In the middle of the street.
That's what you have Slim
And
for, right?
I don't like the other
There you
alternative,
go.
which is well, and that no, the way we could do this is
Ah, what the heck just happened?
You get cut off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, but can't hear him.
in the drain,
Oh, there we go.
and then we wait for a while until we're sure that the work crew is in the tunnel, and then we make our move. We're not sitting in the drain for hours, just a little while.
So
Uh,
you cut out for part of that. So I
oh,
caught the
okay,
tail
sorry.
end.
So
You wanted to.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I like the drain idea because they'll be in the tunnel and working. There will be a few guys watching them, but it won't be a huge squad, and we have a good chance of getting her out. And so, what I was thinking was, we go in the early morning hours and get into the drain, and basically, it might take us a while even the um, to find the right tunnel. But if we work our way, hopefully, into a position where when they come to work, then we can pick her out and grab her. Walter knows what she looks like, and he's given us a description from his other viewing. Um, what do you guys think?
So from the other room, you hear Slim. It sounds like he's holding something in his mouth, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I like that plan. I like that plan." And he begins to shovel back in, and he's carrying the bazooka, and he slings it over his shoulder, and painted on the barrel of the bazooka in white paint is the phrase "chow time," like Italian. And
Shout out. I like
That's
that.
awesome.
and he says, "You think you reckon I'll be able to fit this thing down that drain?"
I'm afraid that's unlikely.
Well, it's long and straight. I think I can do it.
Well, here's a problem as I see it, right? They have two work shifts, a day shift and a night shift, basically. And there's no way to tell which one she's going to be on. So she could be working the day rotation, she could be working the night rotation. If it's the night rotation, there'll be more guards and more snake people in the tunnels. So it's better for us to have cover to do this at night, but it's worse for us to do this at night because we'll have more resistance. And we can't tell which one of those two it's going to be. So we may
Well,
be in those tunnels for a really long time.
we might. We certainly can't. If we have to do this activity at night so that we're not spotted by everyone in the city while we're doing it, we can't infiltrate. If we wanted to infiltrate the barracks, we can't do that during the day.
No,
So if she's on the night shift, our
that's where
only
I
hope
was
is
going.
the tunnel. Yeah.
If we were to say, okay, we're not doing the tunnels, we're going to do, a raid on the camp secretly, right? We don't know where she is. Like she could be in the barracks during the day, or she could be in the barracks during the night. We don't know.
Well, why don't we ask Pasquino um, what shift he normally worked on and whether she was with him or not?
He's still cogent, so
Well, listen,
Pasquino,
boys. I ain't
get
afraid
back
of no
there.
snakes. I don't know what it's like in the jungle, but out in Texas, we got them big rattlesnakes, and they ain't never a problem as long as you watch where you step.
Well, here in the jungle, we've got fun and games.
oh no.
I think we can take care of it. We can hang out in this. I said we'll go through the tunnels.
I will take uh, Pesquino's shoulder. Pesquino, where is Lucretia? Does she work the day shift or the night shift?
Eeny, meeny,
Eeny, meeny,
miny,
miny, mo. You have a
mo.
50% chance of being
That's
right.
right. 1 to 2, it's day shift.
Come on,
Oh, she
Pesquino.
works the night shift.
Excellent, Pesquino. Here, have a sip of this now. All right,
Dang,
night shift. That was
it
easy.
just got harder.
Yeah, harder, but also better in some
More
ways.
more dangerous.
So if we were to do a daylight raid if we were to do a raid on the camp, it would be daylight, which is bad, bad, bad.
Right.
So I think that decision's been made for
So the
us. We have
barracks is out. It's
we
the
have to
tunnel.
go in there during the day, unless we hit them at shift, like shift change. I mean, but that doesn't seem like it's that much better of an idea. So yeah, the tunnels. So we have to go in there, but we could go in there under cover of night, right? We don't have to go in there during the day and wait. We can go when it's dark because the night shift's pretty long,
Right.
and Baker will have his work cut out for him with the shitty knifey stuff. I'm sure.
Pesquino, who is also he's actually really he's very, your focus mantra has really helped him. He's holding it together pretty well. He says, you have to get Lucretia, but you have to find out why the Germans are here. They're looking for a weapon. That whatever it is, they can't be allowed to have it.
Does Lucretia know?
I do not know.
Who
Uh,
might tell us in the camp?
I don't know that any of the prisoners would know, but the Italian archaeologist, the two archaeologists, the Italian, the German, and then the other German who seemed to be in command or in charge or something. I'm not sure. They all are in. They all stay in the site office. That's that small building on cinder blocks. They sleep in there, and that's where they. So if there's any information, it'll be in there.
So they go there at night and sleep. I assume they're not going to work at the most dangerous shift.
No, no. In fact, they never actually came out to the work site.
And how many people are in that site office?
Uh, just the three, the two
There's
archaeologists, and
there's
then
no
the other
guards in
German.
there with them.
No, no, but there's guards that patrol the fence and everything. There, so they're they it's pretty secure for them.
Okay, good job, Pesquino.
Oh man.
Well, guys, we've got our work cut out for us now because this just became a double pronged thing. And yeah, I always hate splitting the party, but I don't know how else we're going to do this.
I was just thinking the same thing because our problem is if we do one objective and then the next objective, the second objective becomes extremely difficult because
Right.
we've already
It's like
stirred up the hornet's nest a little, but
the second the
then,
shooting starts underground and the guards get a whiff of what we're up to, then anything we do up top is compromised, and vice versa, right?
right, so they have to be done at the same time.
Sorry.
And there's 9 or 10 threats sitting out there at so
Yeah.
all right. Um,
Well, honestly, probably if we have to triage this, probably getting to the archaeologist is probably the most important thing. Because
okay.
if they're working on a super weapon, we really need to know what that is, right? The life of one spy. I mean, it depends what information she has. I don't know.
So if we split the group, who goes after Lucretia and who goes after the archaeologists? We're not extricating the archaeologists. We're just the archaeologists. Did he say they're Italian?
He said one
Honestly,
was Italian, one was German.
Oh,
honestly,
good. Phew.
it almost seems like a getting the archaeologist almost seems like a job for Baker because
Yeah.
he speaks fluent German and he's got the knack of pretending to be a German officer or whatnot. He can walk around with a limited amount of concealment that we can't do, and he's like a wet work expert. So once doesn't have to carry any guns to be dangerous, he can go in there and slit throats like a motherfucker. So nobody's better apt to do that than him. You know, and he's going up against guys that are known to be unarmed and you know in various stages of not being protected, right? So there's going to be guards in the towers and on the fences, but there's nobody in there with them. So if you can get in there, you should be good. Whoever goes in the tunnels, though, they're going to have to face lizard men and guards with
Possibly.
MP40s, and it's very dark in there, so we'll have to have flashlights. Yeah, I think it's going to have to.
Yep.
If ever there's, I never would ever recommend this in any game I've ever played, especially one of Marty's games, where where,
Come on
where I
now.
would say, let's split the party, and then say it in a way that's like, let's detach a guy by himself. I would never, but I think this might be the first and only time that this ever makes sense to me. What we need is a ninja to go in there and ninja those archaeologists while the rest of the group, like, you know, lays it down. But we also have another problem that we need to think about, and that's they do have a tank, and we do have to get out.
Well, the tank's
So
down
there
by
may
the
even be
hospital.
okay. So
Yeah.
it would take a while. So I was going
Yeah.
to say there might be a call for Slim to overwatch with that bazooka, and if that tank shows up, actually blow the shit out of it. But that would mean that he's not in there with us doing the fighting, and Walter and I are not the best fighters.
Well, you don't
So
have to ask me twice.
I
well,
think
But
and it may not show up. Like if we pull this off perfectly, you'd be out there overwatching just as a safety for
here's
no
all
payoff.
right. So I think you're on the right track.
Those are my 3 cents.
I'm with you. The Walter Walter and Khan. You guys aren't the best fighters. Um, so, but you've got
I mean, don't let Khan hear you say that. He's a Sikh.
you've got you've got some spells. You've got some spells. So, um, depending on what you run up against, see, your goal in the tunnel is to try and find an opportunity to grab her up and take off, not necessarily confront a bunch of people, right? Right? If you could, if let's face it,
For
guards, that's
sure, for sure.
guard duty is boring duty,
It's 100%
and
true. If we could just grab her and not let anybody know we're there, that is the mission. The mission's not to kill anybody; it's to grab her
but
and get her.
if you run up against a snake man, you've got some mean ass spells at your. So I think you guys go with Slim and try and get Lucretia, especially since Walter knows exactly what she looks like.
Mm.
The rest of us
Marty, are they
only got
considered supernatural opponents?
Um,
Like for a
well,
banishment spell?
I'm make a roll.
Make a roll.
Make a roll.
Which
Um,
roll would you like me to make?
reason with academia, occultism, focus.
Reason with
oh, you're
academia.
trying to figure it out for yourself. Good.
come on, baby.
Difficulty one.
Aha.
I've also gotten momentum.
Momentum is at 4. Um,
Uh,
no, they are the ancient race of the kingdom of Volusia. They are not supernatural.
okay, so they're not summoned.
Correct.
because we did know that they were the ancient race, but I didn't know, like, are they walking through a portal to get here, or
Even if they were, you're 99.99% certain that your spell would not have the effect
okay,
on them. Not the spell you're thinking of.
okay,
Sphere of
okay, good.
Indra, of course, would
Thank you,
would hurt anybody, but
thank you, very, very good.
Anyway, I'm thinking you three. I don't know what you do with the dog, if the dog goes or not, but um, you three go to try and get her from the tunnel, and
oh my
I
god, the dog.
God, it's too bad she wouldn't take commands from Henry because she's a German Shepherd.
Amazing.
It would be perfect.
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. But so I have two choices. I can go to the building up on the roof and come down inside the compound in my German uniform and then bluster my way, or I could go to the guard tower and try and bluster my way, um, and make my way as a German sergeant over to the over to the site office. Sounds like because I don't need to take them with me. I just need to interrogate them, right?
What if
We're not
you?
necessarily trying to take a hostage.
Yeah, you just
That's
need to
fair.
get the info and then you're out. And the condition that they're in after you leave really doesn't matter, but Khan didn't say that.
You guys are great.
Well, it sounds like sneaking over the building is probably the least risk, but I mean, unless you have a convenient excuse to get in the camp
Well,
as a German
that's
officer.
that's the issue. Is well, the best way to get in anywhere is act like you belong there.
Yep.
Uh, but the Germans are sticklers for often checking papers and orders, uh, especially if I run into an officer rather than an NCO.
Yeah, you run into another sergeant, you can tell him to kiss your ass. He's got no
Yeah,
authority over you, theoretically.
but if I run into an officer, then I may have it may turn out to be unfortunate for him. All right, so we have I have two choices on how I want to do it.
I
You
fucking love that.
guys,
I love that so much what you just said.
um,
That was the most Baker thing you've said yet. I could hear you like with like a Jersey accent. It'll be unfortunate for him. We run into each other in the dark. It'll be unfortunate for him.
That's wonderful.
um,
So, is it on a table that I'm going with? Because I'll probably need healing too from all this.
Well, I think it's funny if like Slim like meanders to the doorway and peeks in at the couch, and he says, Blecky, wake up!
Uh, uh,
Listen, we're going to do an assault on the camp. Do you want to be in the party that kills the architect, or do you want to go through the tunnel and direct assault the serpent people?
he rolls over and goes back to sleep.
All right. Seems like Plecky's still on the mend. Maybe he's part of the assault team.
all right, did we ever reach a conclusion on how long Walter has to rest?
So here's the deal. Basically, an 8-hour nights of rest, or 8 hour days worth of rest, whatever, 8 hours of rest allows him to make a brawn plus resilience roll. Okay, first off, his stress goes away. The stress just drops down to zero. The problem he's got is his 4 fatigue is substantially hampering his maximum stress pool, so he can't take a lot of damage. So, the way that works is he makes a difficulty 1 um, stress fatigue roll, or stress. I'm sorry, it makes a difficulty 1 bleh, brawn plus resilience, and every success he gets reduces his fatigue by 1, and he's at 4 currently. What the 4 fatigue is doing is any roll he makes, the complication range, instead of just being a 20, is a 17 through 20. And it's dropping his max stress pool. Now, as far as his injury is concerned, the only way for his injury to go away, and it's a mental injury, he needs either psychological treatment, which cannot happen during the mission, or he needs magical healing. What the injury is doing, because it's a mental injury, any mental task he does, whether it's casting a spell, making an observation roll, whatever, any mental task he does, his difficulty's increased by 1. We'll also ignore the fact that if he gets 2 more injuries, he dies. Or could die. Not dies automatically, but could die. So, that's
Could he
this.
die from this roll?
What's that?
This roll he's about to make, if he gets complications, is
No, no,
okay.
no, 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 no. This is purely a roll after rest to see if his fatigue went away. So
Okay.
it can't. It's
What kind of complications? I guess I'm trying to think. Should we let him do this first and then see if I need to cast my spell, or should I just cast my spell? Like, what other complications he can give himself if he
um
screws up this roll real bad?
to be honest, in this particular, unless he fails, if he fails completely, I would probably have him take another point of fatigue. It would not be an injury, but it would be a point of fatigue, which would make his life that much more difficult.
Okay, so it's safe
Um,
for him to do it first. If he
So,
fails,
well,
then
let,
we'll
let me
resort
ask.
to spell.
yeah,
Let's
I
talk.
would say so, but go ahead.
Let's talk about the timing, though. Before we do anything, if Khan does this spell, what is the cost to him of this
Uh,
spell?
4 damage dice with drain on any effects rolled.
So if he ends up taking some stress or other effects of this roll,
He's going to want
then
to sleep it off too.
exactly. And so I'd like to do this tonight, given that we're in the morning.
Makes
Otherwise, I'm
sense.
sitting on my hands for 2 days. So,
It's a good call.
so maybe you should just
Do this thing.
go ahead and do it. And if you take some, um, you get some effects that have to be slept off, then you can sleep too.
That is a very logical case, and
And
I'm
we've got
convinced.
4 momentum, so you should have some momentum to use.
Yes,
You can
so
use
I
one to
have.
get an extra die, right?
Yeah, if I think I need 3 of it for sure.
You need well, if you want to remove his injury, then you need 2 banked for that, which gives you 2 to spend.
Right. So yeah, but I can only buy 1 die with 1. I need 2 to buy a second die. So
Yeah, you need 2 more to buy a second dice, so you need
right.
3 total to buy 2 dice. That's correct.
Yeah. So basically, I'll be using 3 of it. I think.
But
And
that
then
also improves the chances of getting momentum back, right?
It does,
Yeah.
except the difficulty's 3. It's kind of rough, so, but
and
it's
then
it's theoretically possible.
you spoke before of using a fortune point, which is what does
Yeah.
that do again?
The
Gives me
fortune
an
point
instant
turns,
success.
yeah, it turns one of his dice automatically into a 1, which gives him 2 successes.
Does it have to be used before or after?
You have to use it before. You can use a fortune point after the fact to re-roll any number of dice, but you can't use it for an
Yeah.
automatic success at that point.
Yeah. I have 2 fortune. So
So let me just understand. It is the dawn. I'm still sidelined until I sleep 8 hours. If if I wouldn't be able to roll right now, right? Because I have to wait until this evening to be able to roll to
You have
see.
to wait till your sleep time passes to
Right.
make the roll.
So the point of this conversation, which I agree with, is we don't have time for that. So Sharif is going to try to do the spell, but that may delay him and his
Well,
recovery,
I think
depending
the
on it.
idea is one way or the other, you're going to have to sleep. And so what they're thinking is if he can cast his spell to remove your injury
Right.
and has to sleep it off too, then you guys can sleep it
We
off at the
sleep it
same
off
time.
together. Got it. Okay.
Whoa,
Good.
whoa, well,
We can
whatever.
sleep together.
Oh, yeah.
What?
1930s boys.
Careful, careful. So, what's the
I'll really
plan?
knock your cheese off your cracker.
We got 13 minutes.
I think I won't use the fortune point because this is something that can be fixed just by waiting longer.
That's true.
Okay.
So I will, I'll save the fortune for like do or die. Um, but I will use the momentum. So, all right, you ready?
You buying 2 extra dice, putting you at 1 momentum.
I will spend one momentum,
Oh, okay.
so one extra die,
Okay,
right?
that leaves you guys at 3 momentum. Yep.
Right, because I need two to remove the injury.
True statement. True
Okay.
statement.
So dice right now I'm at three, right?
Correct.
Oh, please, please, please.
Difficulty three.
Yep.
Okay, wish
Yeah,
me luck.
because you're rolling it right off the spell, right?
Yep, right
Yeah.
off the spell.
Perfect.
Oh baby!
Holy,
Oh
Oh
man,
baby!
Look
holy
at
shit.
God
you go.
is
clutch
favored by
move.
the
Epic.
gods.
Amazing.
So,
The glory of Ushas watches
Five.
over you.
Walter springs up and starts reciting Shakespeare.
that's right.
Very
So
nice.
Walter, remove all your stress, and for that
Right.
matter, if any of you have any stress damage at all, remove it. Um, so you
And
obviously you
what's
want to.
his name, right? The our rescued guy,
Yeah, correct.
Alopecius or whatever his name is.
Yeah, and I had some stress too. So
So you have 5 momentum, which means for 2 momentum, you can all affected allies remove a single injury. I assume you want to do that.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay, so that puts you at 3. So Walter,
Mm-hmm.
your injury is healed.
Oh,
However,
But
always a
oh boy,
however.
um, you now have to make a roll.
Okay.
Um, you now have to make a roll.
I still have 4 fatigue, correct?
Your fatigue still, yeah, the fatigue stays. Unfortunately, the spell doesn't get rid of that.
Okay.
You need to make a will roll,
Okay.
okay, with resilience.
Uh-huh.
Difficulty is 1. And here's what you're rolling for before you make this roll, and you can
Uh-huh.
decide if you want to buy extra dice because you have 3 momentum.
Right.
What this roll is doing is because you have been healed, you now have to see if you have a scar. Okay?
Okay.
A scar becomes a new personal truth about
Mm-hmm.
your character that can be invoked for good or ill.
Okay.
So, it's a question
Damn,
if,
this sounds kind of cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
it's,
just take the standard roll.
all right, off you go, sir.
All right. So we do will,
Yep.
2 dice, relevant skill, resilience,
Resilience and
no
if you
focus.
have fortitude, fortitude would apply. If not,
Yeah,
then
I don't.
okay.
Difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Oh shit. Okay.
Jesus
wow.
Christ.
Well done.
wow.
Wow. It's
You
scene
get
end,
you
and
get
you
a
guys are getting all the momentum on the planet.
you get a
You know,
cool
I was
scar
hoping
that
for a scar.
all chicks will immediately love your scar.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, hold on, hold on,
So studly.
Well, it's a
hold on, just a
psychic
second.
scar, so
Hold on, just a second, gentlemen. I'll let you retcon this roll because this is a situation where this makes sense. You can voluntarily. How many fortune points do you have currently?
I have, I think, just one.
You have 1. So, okay. So hold on a second, because this is a game mechanics thing that we have not really had the opportunity to use, right?
Uh-huh.
And Oh shoot, they're going to be at the school by 12. Crap.
Then we're
Game
done.
mechanics thing that we've not really had an opportunity to use. You can voluntarily fail this roll
Hmm.
and gain a fortune point, and you'll have a scar.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Why don't you think about it? You need to
Yeah, I
go.
think on that.
Yeah, I got to go pick up a kid. So let's just end here for the week. I'm sorry for the short run,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, no, that's a good. Let me write this. Okay.
But we'll leave
Somebody
that roll
remember
up
this. I
on the
don't have it.
screen, and then you can think that over,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, I'll
then
take a look at. Does the player's handbook have and give me an idea of what the scars might be, or is that in the
yeah,
GM?
there's a list of them. There's a
Okay,
list of them.
cool.
If you go to that section, I think it's page 40 or somewhere in that
And this
ballpark.
this would be a mental type scar, right?
Right.
Correct.
I'd
Okay.
be extra moody.
Yep. So let's do that. Guys, thanks for showing up. Sorry for the short session. I'll see you
Hey.
guys next week.
Okay, cool.
All
Wait,
right.
Yeah,
I thought we
awesome.
were off next week, no?
The
Because
6th.
doesn't
We're off
Slim
the
have
6th.
something? Oh, it's the
Uh,
6th that we're off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good
we're
next
good
week.
next
Yeah.
week.
Sorry, my bad.
Okay,
All
next
right.
week we're good.
All cool.
All
See
right.
you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye.